Hi, gang, and welcome to Behind the Rhinestones. I am your host, Dinah Dare, and here I chat to some of the stars of the burlesque and cabaret scene, specifically in the UK, but some world. Please do like and subscribe if you are enjoying these interviews, and there's a new interview coming for you every Sunday. And today, we're actually talking to someone that was voted into the top 50 in the world last year. So please welcome to Behind the Rhinestones. Hiya, Turkish. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Hello, thank you for having me.
How
Excited.
are you today?
I'm good. A bit tired from traveling. We just had Cardiff Cabaret Club last night.
Oh,
Just came back
nice.
from that, but quite excited for this.
Oh, um, you're always. I feel like you're always traveling. You're always away doing things. Like you've got Tease live as well. Do you not travel quite a lot with that?
Yeah, Tea's a big one we kind of go all around the country with. Just been something I've never done before. So it took a bit of getting used to with all the travel, but it's been going really well so far, which I'm happy about.
That's really good. Well, we'll come to that in a minute because I will ask a bit more about that. But um, we'll kind of rewind, go right back to the start. So, how did you get into burlesque?
So I've been a ballet dancer pretty much my whole life. I started doing ballet when I was 4 years old in Turkey, and I loved performing. And ballet, I was a little bit unsure about, but we had very intense Russian style training. That wasn't always the
Mm.
most positive experience.
Mm.
And then a few years later, when I was, I think, 12, 15, my family and I moved to Amman, Jordan. And the dress code is a bit stricter than it is in Turkey. And I used to get in so much trouble if I was showing my shoulders or like knees, and I didn't really understand that as a child.
Mm.
And ironically, the school I went to had a friend who also went on to become a burlesque performer. Their name is Leila Delicious. They're a Palestinian burlesque performer in the US.
Amazing.
And she used to get in a lot of trouble as well with the dress code, and we both ended up as performers. Um, Coming back to that, I studied dance in the UK in university, but still was trying to find what I actually wanted to do because ballet I don't think was going to be an option for me, especially with like disability and everything as well. And I started researching burlesque and I thought the power dynamics were really interesting
Mm.
between the audience and the performer, but also the difference between just being naked and the act of removing articles of clothing and how we charge that with sexuality.
Mm.
Did my thesis on that, and then I went on to do my master's in dance, and again focusing on burlesque. I did an installation where I likened burlesque performers to reptiles shedding their skins. It was like a mash of like nature, reptiles, and burlesque thing. And for that, I had to do like a social media account for record keeping, and I was following all these performers, and I saw a performer called Belle de Beauvoir post that she was looking for a stage manager for her show Big Band Burlesque with Beatrix Valhalla. I was like, oh, let me try and see what this is about. I went stage manage, and it was everything I researched, like coming into life, like all these feather fans and ostrich feather boas and the glitz and glamour. And I was literally hooked. I stage managed there every month for I think 2 years, I want to say. Then Les, Belle, and Beatrix also really supported me and nurtured me and gave me a platform to actually perform at Big Band as
Mhm.
well. And yeah, that's kind of how I started and just haven't looked back since.
I love that. And Belle is such a wonderfully glamorous performer to learn from and to have that guidance from as well. Like um, yeah, her costumes, her style, beautiful, which so is yours, obviously, but you can see that understanding you've learned from her makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And you've kind of skyrocketed since then, let's be honest. So you in 2023, sorry, you won Legend in the Making, is that right? I've done my research right.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. And that's I saw that act actually. I think I was there that year. Yes, I was. I was there that year. And it's the one where you're a kebab, isn't it?
Uh,
Loved it. So good. How was that experience?
Um, I remember seeing the casting call by Lady Wildflower, and I was really nervous, like, am I good enough to apply for this? And I almost didn't apply because I didn't think I was there yet. But I was like, just fuck it, let's see how it goes. I remember getting the confirmation email, literally so shocked, and she called, I think, my best friend, I think. I could not even believe I actually got in. And then I saw it was a lot of my friends on the same lineup as well, so it was just amazing. And yeah, we booked Airbnbs and everything. Then we actually did the show, and it was amazing. I was not expecting to win, and then Titselina Bomb Squash called my name to win, and I was just shocked. Literally was not expecting it. We're just very grateful for the whole experience and getting to meet so many people I've been speaking to online in person. It's like the burlesque Hall of Fame for UK, kind
Yeah.
of. Yeah, I just was not expecting it, especially with my silly kebab act as well.
So good.
Yeah, but
I
also,
think you've got quite a range of acts, don't you? So you have your very classic sparkles, which gorgeous, and then as you said, you have that kebab act. Um, did you intentionally want that range, or do you just make what inspires you in that moment?
um, so actually, when I first did my kebab act, I do love performing it, and I'm grateful for where it's taken me. But I was always wondering, like, is this going to prevent me from getting booked for classic shows or like classic, like corporate gigs? And I had a fantastic one-to-one session with Ida Sanguine, who also does very classic glamorous acts, but then she has like a T-Rex act.
Yeah.
And that kind of inspired me to explore more classic as well. So I thought I wasn't very sexy or classy enough to do classic, but once you just get started and just like do little bits, it's okay in the end.
Hmm.
Yes, I've been doing a bit more classic since then, but I do have a new Neo act coming soon. In
Oh,
a few months, it's in the making. Just need to push myself a little bit to actually work on it. Yeah.
I'll keep my eyes peeled for that. That sounds exciting. Um, where do you sort of pull your inspiration from, and who are some of the biggest influences on your work?
So my absolute biggest inspiration, also where my name comes from, when I first started, I was researching, does anyone have the name Turkish Delight in burlesque? And I realized there's no Turkish burlesque performers anywhere.
Oh,
Any professional I could find. It's not very popular in Turkey, anyways. But I found this Turkish belly dancer who was famous in the 1950s, and her stage name was Necla Ateş, Necla Fire, and she literally toured around the world doing belly dance, and she did lots of Hollywood movies. like touring in France, literally everywhere, which is quite impressive, especially for a Turkish woman, especially of that time as well. And then I saw some photos of her with kind of nipple pasties. So there isn't actually any footage of her doing burlesque, but there are photos of her in nipple pasties.
Mm.
But she was kind of my big inspiration when I was first starting out. So the Americans nicknamed her Turkish Delight.
Okay.
And yeah, I kind of had my stage persona as an ode to Nejla. And my first act I ever created, Istanbul Delight, was based on her performances and kind of drawing inspiration from Turkish belly dancers of the time. So that's how I started. But my current inspirations and my whole career, definitely Belle de Beauvoir, my burlesque mom,
Hmm.
Ida Sanguine, definitely. Harley Phoenix, who's a really dear friend of mine, and she just keeps pushing me to do stuff, which I don't always have the courage for. So it's really precious having that kind of support.
Hmm.
And because we're very close friends, she's very blunt with her feedback sometimes. She'll be like, Turkish, what the fuck is that? I'm like, but sometimes you need that kind of honest
Hmm.
feedback to actually move forward. So obviously she's not just swearing at me 24/7. She's
Yeah.
like, yeah. Yeah, these are my and also which all the performers from my collective Harem of No One. We're a queer Southwest Asian North African performance collective in London, and
Amazing.
it's really cool to see each member take bits of our culture and incorporate that into cabaret. And I draw a lot of inspiration from them. Vice versa, I would hope so.
Yeah. How did that collective start? Did it exist and then you joined it? Is it something that sort of came about? How did that sort of happen?
It existed for about a year before I joined it. It's founded by Toby Kind, our producer, and I saw them on Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, I've never seen anything like this. I've never seen anyone, SWANA, Southwest Asian, North African, doing this sort of thing.
Hmm.
I just messaged him. I was like, I love your work. I would love to come meet you. If you have any performance opportunities, I would love to perform with you as well. And thankfully, Toby wrote back to me and I did my first performance with them. And it was really cool to speak our languages backstage as well.
Hmm.
Felt like a bit of home. We had like tubs of hummus backstage, like Turkish food or Cypriot food, just like a little family away from home almost.
That's really nice. It's nice that you've found that group of people that you can connect to, that you have that shared sort of cultural element as well. Is that I've seen you sort of post about that quite a lot online as well, so I know that's something that's quite important to you. Um, do you bring quite a lot of elements of your culture into your performances?
Yes, I tried to. Definitely the kebab act, bit of my culture. Also, my Istanbul Delight act has very basic belly dance elements. I've done, I randomly danced to Beautiful Liar with Hebden Bridge Burlesque Festival, the Cabaret Against the Machine
Hmm.
live band, and that became one of my repertoire acts. And it's again belly dancing and burlesque. But yeah, I find it quite important to highlight belly dance in burlesque because we took a lot of things from belly dancers. especially Little Egypt and out, I say early 19th century,
Hmm.
Chicago World Fair burlesquers, we just went, oh, they're doing something new and exciting. We should just take bits of that. That's where we have like the bump and grind moves. They're all just coming from belly dance or rock sharky dance of the East movements.
Hmm.
I feel like we need to give more recognition to especially global majority artists that shaped our art form.
Hmm.
Yeah, I do quite a bit of belly dancing and burlesque as well, even though it can be a bit controversial in the belly dance scene as well.
Is it? I didn't know that.
When we do belly dance, it's not considered to be a sexual art form at all. It's meant to be very family friendly, a folkloric dance form, and we do it in a lot of family gatherings or community gatherings. So some belly dancers think it's a bit immoral to sexualize it, especially in burlesque. So yeah, it's a bit of a long time debate that's been going on between both industries. So because it's my own culture, I feel like I have a bit more freedom to challenge it,
Yep.
but trying to stay respectful to both art forms can be a bit tricky sometimes.
I imagine that's an extremely difficult rope to kind of walk across. But that's really interesting, and I love that you I talked a little bit about our history. I think there's been various conversations for months. There always is about how important our shared burlesque history is, but I love how it's also kind of a shared cultural history for you as well, which is really interesting. Um, I'll kind of come away from that a little bit and go back to what we talked about at the start. So you have been working with Tease Live for quite a while now. How did that come about and how has that experience been?
So I think over a year ago, I want to say October time, 2024 maybe, or even a bit before that, I just saw a casting call for burlesque performers on a Facebook group, and I didn't think too much of it, or I didn't really make connections as to who was producing it. I just tried my luck, sent my things over, and a few months later, I got the email saying they'd love to work with me. And it's a brand new tour called Tease Live. And it's made by the team that produces Forbidden Nights in the UK.
Hmm.
And I was not allowed to tell anyone anything for months. Then one day they invited me to a promo shoot at before a Forbidden Nights tour, and I remember I was just on Instagram and I saw this performer's story on Instagram, and they were like just sharing a photo saying, very exciting things happening today. And I saw the background of the green room, and that was the exact same green rooms we had. I just walked into another green room, it was Violet Thistletease.
Yeah.
So it was like a really lovely surprise that she was on it as well. And did a promo shoot, have like a whole almost scripted show of what's happening throughout, and it's a really good mix of classic burlesque, which I do on the show, and then Violet does neo burlesque, and she does a gorgeous bathtub act at the end, and we have some variety without spoiling the show too much, some group numbers, and there's also some acts giving acknowledgement to the striptease history of burlesque, which is, I think, quite unique and something we don't really see that often in just burlesque shows, but I feel like we should more. Yeah, it's been really fun, exciting, and just learning to perform for a lot of different crowds and a lot of different stages.
Hmm.
Because for some people, they have never seen any type of burlesque before, and they just want to see what's on at the local theatre, and they see all these burlesque performers, and some people do really love it, which is lovely to see, but obviously it's not everyone's cup of tea, and that's okay as well. Hopefully there is something for everyone in the show.
Amazing. And I assume that's, it's their big stages a lot of the time. You're really having an opportunity to refine your craft on that sort of stage as well. So has it been an opportunity to really, yeah, refine what you already do?
Yes, definitely. So I had two big differences I've noticed. The first one is obviously how I use the stage, because some of them are really wide.
Hmm.
Sometimes instead of having my normal fans, I have my giant ostrich feather fans, which I can't really use in smaller venues, but it's also really trying to navigate that has been a learning curve. I don't hit my face anymore with the fans, so I'm quite happy with that. The other thing is there is usually a separation between the audience and the stage, so we rely a bit less on audience interaction.
Mm.
Normally, that's one of my favorite things to do. I still do a little bit of it on tour, but not getting super close to them. So that made me need to change my act slightly, where it's more choreographed rather than improvised and based on interaction.
Mm. That makes sense, but you're learning to adjust your acts to different stages and different environments, which are fantastic skills to have, and that's one hell of a cool way to refine them. Um, so obviously last year, start of this year, you were voted into the top 50 in the world. Congratulations for starters. I think I said at the time, but congrats. How, what was it like waking, or I don't even know if we woke up or it was the middle of the day, but what was it like seeing that notification?
Um, I was actually either on the way to a gig or coming back from a gig, and I was just in a very busy train station, and I just received a message from Donna Poderosa saying, "Babe, congratulations!" And I was like, what's happening? Okay, babe." And then she's like, just sent me the link, and I think I literally froze for a minute.
Mm.
I was not expecting that at all, and I'm pretty sure I cried and called my mom at the very
Mm.
train station. And then I saw a lot of my friends made the list as well, which is really lovely. Donna, she's also made the list, which I'm really happy for her. I adore her. Serafina Hart from the UK as well, incredible performer. Sadie Sinner, just these incredible people. Just to be in the same space, virtual space with them was just incredible.
Hmm.
Yes, I'm very grateful for that. It was very unexpected, but I'm happy I could have had at least like small influence in the industry, hopefully for the better. Yeah.
You must have, you're on the list. Has it, um, since you've got that, have you found that you're getting more bookings, or has it made an actual change in any way, or was it just a really, obviously for yourself, you kind of feel respected and you're feeling, I imagine, accepted as part of the community, but has it made sort of any tangible difference to what work you're getting?
It's definitely made me feel more accepted, especially when I was. This is when I was having issues with my visa and trying to figure out
Mm.
if I was going to be able to stay in the UK or not. Thankfully, I have stayed in the UK for now, but yeah, it made me feel very accepted and as part of the community.
Mhm.
I wouldn't say it's had a massive effect on my bookings. It's because we've had a lot of shows cancelling due to low ticket sales, and the whole industry is feeling just like the hit from that. That I have noticed, very gratefully, I have been started being billed more as a headliner now in some
Mm.
shows, which has been very honoring. Obviously, a lot more of responsibility to represent the show really well as well. But yeah, I'm grateful that producers have been trusting me with that as well. So,
It's a fantastic achievement, definitely. So you should be very pleased.
very much thank you.
Um, you wear a bajillion hats. So we've talked about, you've won Legend in the Making, you do classic, you do Neo, you do Tease, you've been voted onto top 50, but you also do seated burlesque classes. How has that come about and how do you enjoy it? How has it come about and how is it going, I suppose is what I'm trying to ask.
I think the many hats is definitely an ADHD thing coming through. Um, I'm like, oh, I should do this and this and this, and just need to calm down a little bit. So Harley Phoenix and I, we started Cabaret Identities a few years back, which is London's queer, disabled, neurodivergent, chronically ill cabaret. And we both have disabilities and wanted a space for other performers to come together, feel supported, and sometimes these performers are performers that don't often get a chance to perform in other shows just because of accessibility needs and how much each show can accommodate. Especially in London, we don't have a lot of step-free venues left, unfortunately.
Mm.
So we've started that, and we've had great response to that. And it's like throughout the years, my disability has been affecting me more and more daily. For example, you'll see me on social media, it's been like all glamorous, but you don't see me using mobility aids to try to get to the venue or trying to find a path that doesn't have as many steps so it can actually function physically. And I was like, we should do something more for the community because sometimes I don't have use of my legs, but I still want to do burlesque.
Mm.
And I wasn't sure if anyone would actually want to join or not. I saw this performer called Kate Sanford. She's a wheelchair user and she does tap dance classes in her wheelchair. She made this board out of wood and she has made special gloves with the tap metal, don't know what they're called, not answer.
Yeah.
So just very inspired by her to just translate this into burlesque, and it's been crazy. We've had so many people join and so many people sponsor places for disabled performers to join, and it started out as an in-person UK project, but now it's fully online, and we have people joining in from, I think, the United States. We've had some from Australia and Europe as well, which has been
Amazing.
very, very crazy. Like I did not expect it to get this around. It is just a one-person project right now. I'm hoping to expand it a little bit more. We have a workshop coming on July 21st, I want to say, online. Then we also have an in-person workshop in Hull, in Highway to Hull. And that's August 23rd, I believe, the morning. And a few more projects I'm not allowed to announce yet, but I'm waiting very patiently. Um, like,
That it sounds like you found a need. and you're filling that need with providing these, not just the classes, but also the opportunity for people to perform in your cabaret that you run as well. So yeah, I think it's so popular because people want it. People want to be a part of it, and you've provided an opportunity for them to do that. Um, you obviously touched on accessibility being an issue and your sort of chronic illness your chronic illness flaring up. Sorry, I can't do words anymore today, apparently. Um, how do you manage your extremely busy life with cabaret along with having your kind of flare-ups or your chronic illness?
For example, I had two shows back to back this weekend, and I'm gonna need to take the next 2 or 3 days to physically recover.
Mm,
So it's usually me booking shows back to back and then me needing to book a few days for myself to recover physically.
mm-hmm,
I did have some instances where I had really bad flare ups during shows, where I would just be on the floor, changing rooms. The adrenaline really helps. The 3 to 5 minutes I'm on stage, I almost don't feel it as much. And then that goes away and it's like, oh, this hurts again.
mm,
Yeah, it's a bit tricky to manage sometimes, I'll say. But some producers have been incredibly helpful and supportive. I'm very grateful for those producers because they literally go out of their way to accommodate me sometimes, and that's just what we need to support each other.
yeah.
Otherwise, we won't have an industry.
Yeah, I mean, this industry is for everyone, but we need to make it accessible for everyone. So, yeah, that totally makes sense. Um, so many hats, as you said, it's your ADHD. I feel like all of us are neurospicy in this industry in some way. Um, so with that in mind, what is your creative process when you're making a new act?
I have two different creative processes. It's not
Yeah, processes. Yeah.
processes. So the main one is how I create acts like kebab or Istanbul Delight is I will have an idea or a theme in my mind, and I will go through a good few hundred songs on Spotify until I find the song that just clicks for me.
Hmm.
And at the same time, I research to see if anyone's done anything similar, if they have, what to avoid. For example, with my kebab act, as I was creating it, I found a performer called Cortina Fort who already had a kebab act, and I reached out to her and I was like, I love your kebab act. Just to let you know, I'm also working on this, but I'm doing so and so instead of so and so. Is that okay with you? And she was just such a babe. She was like, I'm
Mm.
excited for it. And yeah, we're a little kebab burlesque group now.
Oh,
So we just went very off topic. But yeah,
no,
my
I love it.
my first process is I find a theme, I find a song, and I work on costumes, and then it kind of comes together. And then I go to the studio after I listen to the song quite a few times and already have the main choreography bits in my mind,
Hmm.
and just try to get it on stage as often as possible until it never becomes like perfect or completely finished. It's always changing, but it's at a point where I'm happy to present it.
Mm.
The other process I have, I love shopping for costumes, especially on Vinted and eBay. I love a good deal, and I will find an incredible costume I fall in love with and just think, what can I do with this? And just build everything on that costume, like a whole act around that costume.
Hmm.
For example, I bought some costumes from Miss Avdosha, who's an incredible performer, and she's very sadly retiring, but she has trusted me with two of her costumes, which I'm really happy about. And one of them is a blue and purple, very fitted long dress with ostrich feather all around. Now I have the costume, I have to find whole music around and then do the choreography. So it's either based on a theme or choreography because I love getting shiny things a lot.
Yes. Funnily enough, I was speaking to Miss Lolly May the other day. We recorded one of these, and she mentioned that you are a vintage queen.
We have our WhatsApp group with a few performers, and almost every day we just post vintage deals we find for burlesque, and just enable each other to buy more costumes, which isn't the best thing always. Then you never know when you're going to need that costume piece. Yeah.
I have heard this is Stardust's way of doing things. She's like, buy it, your future you will need it. I was like, I am 100% using that from now on.
She's in that group as well. Anyone wants to join the group, please message me, we'll add, but we will be enabling you to buy costumes.
I might have to slide into that group because it sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Um, so do you make any of your costumes, or are you very much like a thrift buyer and then you just sort of embellish? How do you go about that?
Um, I would have loved to be able to make costumes, but I'm not there just yet. I literally just bought a sewing machine a few months ago. I'm
Nice.
very beginner. What I like to do just get random bits from everywhere and put them together, but I love rhinestoning everything, and
Mm.
like that brings the whole look together for me. Like the colors of the rhinestones are matching, and I'm using similar shapes and sizes. Say it's to compensate for my lack of not being able to make costumes, but I actually really enjoy the whole process of rhinestoning. And my fans, I make most of them myself.
Wow.
My feathers and boas, I try to find them secondhand, just for the whole animal cruelty aspect. I actually just found a new boa from Etsy, and it used to belong to a French burlesque performer in 1950s.
Oh, wow.
Just really cool to like have that history with it as well.
Yeah.
Tried to find information about her. I couldn't find anything, but one day I want to find out about her. Just literally whatever I can find online and just putting them together.
I love that. Yeah. You guys need to teach me how to thrift shop because I'm not very good. I get vintage, I scroll for a while and then I don't know. I just don't know what search terms to use. I'm just not very good at it. So I need in this WhatsApp group so you can all enable me and teach me how to be better because I'm here for that.
Yeah.
I've got the odd thing on Vinted. I've got this beautiful silver beaded dress for an act that will at some point make its way out. Um, and I think I got that for like 50. And if you had to buy it new, it would have been like it's completely beaded, it's beautiful. But that was one of these things that I stumbled on by accident and was like, buy
Oh,
immediately. So you've been doing burlesque for a while, obviously, you're kind of part of the community. How have you found the burlesque community and the burlesque industry in general?
cool. Um, I find community versus industry a really interesting debate.
Yep.
I've heard some people say it's an industry before it's a community, and some people say vice versa. I think just depends on why you are doing burlesque.
Mhm.
and how you want to relate to the community. It's definitely different than other jobs. We definitely have a more involved community, which is it's really cool hearing everyone's opinions and feedback, especially like our legends. Obviously, Good Time Mama Jojo and all of our established headliners have a lot of Facebook groups, and it's really cool to see like our established performers that have been in the industry for like 15 plus years just share their experience just to help the community.
Mhm.
It's really cool to have like the social media aspect as well, just to stay a bit more connected. Because yeah, we are kind of all around the UK. It's not the
Mhm.
easiest to meet each other in person, except for I'd say like Hebden Bridge Burlesque Festival. I feel like that's where the community comes together quite a lot.
Yeah. And I think Highway to Hull this year is going to be the same. It's so funny. There's performers that I speak to online that I only really properly met when I went to Vegas a few weeks ago and went to Beehoff. Like I UK performers didn't meet them until we were in Vegas, which is just wild. Um, it's a lonely job sometimes.
Yeah,
It must be nice on Tease Live. You've got Violet facilities as well, so you guys must have become really quite close through doing that then.
yeah, I love her so much. Have like different rooms when we go over and stay over. Sometimes we have a room where everyone goes to party, and then we have a room where everyone goes to sleep. Me and Violet usually just go to sleep after shows. We're like, guys, go and have your fun. We're just like dead right now. Yeah, no, it's really nice to have someone I know already to spend time with them. Sometimes we are in a van for 6, 7 hours. It's really nice to have that company.
Hmm. That's a long drive.
At once so far. Why not for next year?
Yeah. You should come up to Glasgow and bring the show up here.
Yeah, I'd love to. Especially, I think Violet would be very happy about that as well.
Yeah. I think she would love that. And then I'll be there and I'll be like, I would love that. Um, so what are as we said, your career has kind of went, whoo. What are your sort of goals going forward?
Um, I would love to do more international tours.
Mhm.
I have to wait 2.5 years though to get settled status because I don't have a visa to go Europe right now.
Mm,
Tricky and spenny to get.
yep.
That's one of my goals. Um, until then, I want to work on my new Neo act, which I'm really excited about. It's gonna be in the style of kebab, I think. Um,
Oh,
excited about that. Possibly doing another cabaret identities or a few.
nice.
Um, then we have some projects we're working on with Harem of No One as well. We're hoping to launch in the upcoming months, depending on funding, but we're crossing our fingers for that as well. Just, I'd love to do more workshops with other performers as well.
Mm,
I'm currently living just outside London, so it's a bit tricky for me to go into London very often, if not for work. But I'm literally moving to London in 2 weeks, so
oh,
I have
nice.
more access to just like, oh, I'm gonna do a workshop tonight and just go on the tube. I'm quite looking forward to that.
Good. Well, I hope your move goes well because moving house is never fun. So I hope that goes smoothly. And yeah, definitely if you're in London, it's going to be a lot easier to to nip along. Um, it's also not as much travel for you because I imagine if you're having like a flare up or having like a difficult day, that's going to be sort of more on top of that as well to kind of yeah. No, that makes sense. So where can our lovely viewers and listeners follow you online in the future?
So Instagram, I'm at Turkish Delight Official, and I run a burlesque casting call page at Burlesque Casting Calls UK. Also at Seated Burlesque for Seated Burlesque, and at Harem of No One, and at Cabaret Identities. And my website is turkishdelightofficial.com, and I think I'm Turkish Delight on Facebook. Should be.
You're like, maybe.
It's like,
I feel like you just showed the many hats that you wear there by listing out all of your socials. You're like, in this hat, and this one, and this one, and this one, and this
my ADHD projects that are never finished.
one. Oh, it's been lovely to chat to you. Thank you so much for taking the time today. And yeah, hopefully we cross paths in person at some point in the future. That would be lovely.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you so much for coming. Bye.
See you. Bye.